Okay, about to step into Bay FC's Media Day. Going to talk to some players, talk to some coaches. Can't wait to report back with what we find out.
Hey, Coach, can you talk about, now that you've had an accounting, of the strengths and weaknesses of the club, that maybe the biggest strength that you said, okay, I stepped in and wrote this, I feel pretty confident about this. And then from a weakness standpoint, okay, this is the biggest area that we've got to tackle.
Yeah, I think the biggest one for me is the players being brave to be confident. And as I say, we'll only achieve great things if they step outside their comfort zones. They're willing to make mistakes. And I think once the players rebuild their confidence, and you can see that happening over pre-season, I think that will take our game to the next level and will improve our strengths. Some of the work that we're doing with the players on their IDPs is it's not just around what's going to get you better from like a weakness point of view. It's actually what you're really good at and how do we get you even better at that, and both from an individual point of view and a team point of view.
And then, sorry, Dino, this has put us into the channel. And then just fast forwarding to halftime of the season opener, what are you hoping to see in that very first half of real NWSL football?
Yeah, I'm hoping to see our playing identity, and I'm hoping to see it, hoping you guys can as well. I'd like to see that you can see what we've been working on, that you can see us implementing it. That's the bit that I really care about. I care about winning. I care about winning well, and I care about doing it by creating a clear identity.
Thanks, Dino. We're going to go to Bailey.
Dino DeCespedes into the channel. Claire, your leadership skills and professionalism have been mentioned quite a bit. Where do those two traits come from?
I would say the biggest are my parents. I think they're the people that really have been the rocks in my life and ground me, and with my brothers too. They've always just pushed me to be my best on and off the field, especially off, just be a good person first. And with that, I think I try to accompany that with the qualities on the field and being surrounded by good people. I was surrounded by great people at Kansas City. I know I'm going to be surrounded by amazing people at Bay FC. I've learned from Lindsay Heaps at the national team. So what I try to do is take from people that are around me and figure out how I want to make that my own. And I've been fortunate to be in rooms and meet with people who help me with that.
Do you feel some pressure kind of stepping into, obviously coming off the Shield last year, a team that's kind of, on the way up, everybody's hoping. Do you feel kind of some pressure stepping into like a big spot and kind of like the need to maybe carry some extra weight?
I wouldn't say pressure. I feel like there's not much pressure when you do what you love every day.
And then Alyssa, what would you say is the biggest thing last year that was a shortcoming that you're pretty confident just will not be an issue this season?
I think last year had its ups and downs. I think our team really stayed close-knit through obviously not doing very well in the season, but I'm just excited for this year. I think we're gonna do really well, and I'm just excited with all the new people we've got, like all the new players, and I think Emma and the staff have done a great job with just like welcoming us and letting us know like what they want to see. So excited.
Dino DeCespedes into the channel. Jordan, I'm very curious about, just what you think the biggest difference is coming into last year and this year, and then maybe like tactically the biggest difference defensively, like how you guys will approach games this season.
Well, I can't give you all our secrets because I'm sure other teams are listening, but I think just with Emma and Gemma's pedigree coming from where they have come from, the levels that they've coached at, bringing that in here, I think all of us are really craving direction, and having that foundation and that structure is something they've really given us. And I think that's the biggest difference is we know who we are this year. This is how we're going to play. As Alex said, we want to play an exciting brand of football, and that's who we're going to be this year. And
Awesome. And Alex, welcome to the Bay.
Thank you.
For those not familiar with kind of like your attacking style, obviously a lot of attacking talent here at Bay FC. How do you see your role and like your biggest strengths and what you bring to the table?
Yeah, definitely. I want to help win. I want to assist and score and just bring more goals to this team. I think for me, on the wing, I bring a lot of creativity, whether it's going 1v1 or different types of crosses. So I think that's just what I want to bring to the team and help win too.
Hey, Taylor, how do you think about like the biggest difference between last year and this year? Like, what's the biggest thing offensively that you've kind of added to your game going into the season to try to think about upping the productivity?
Yeah, great question. I think for me, just looking back on the year I had and where I started and then where I was in the middle and where I was at the end. And so just I think for me it's reflecting how I can continue to grow. And so at the beginning of the year, I wasn't necessarily producing in the way I did. And then in the middle of the season, finally getting that inch. And at the end, I felt like I was kind of getting better. And so kind of just picking up where I ended last season. And I think for me, it's been being disciplined in the pocket and not trying to move so much, and how I'm moving is productive. And so, yeah, I think moving at times I feel like is productive, but making sure that my movement is best for the team. And so staying in the pocket and just being patient has been what I've been working on the past few weeks of preseason and into last year. So I'm not necessarily the person who needs to go everywhere. I need to be in the right place at the right time to then be able to add to the attack. So kind of reflecting on that, but I feel like I do better when I focus on one thing and kind of get that down. So that's what I've been working on.
Awesome, thanks. And then Joelle, the midfield defensively, obviously like some personnel, a lot of competition. What would you say is sort of like the philosophy going into the year? Like, is there like kind of like a collective mantra that you guys are sort of rallying around?
I think one thing that Emma has or wants to implement this year is just playing through the midfield more. I think we're going to get our midfield more involved so they can facilitate things in the attack. So obviously having people in the back line that are confident on the ball and be able to get it to our midfielders, I think is really important. But I think, just one thing she said from the get-go is like, we're going to play through the middle. We're going to use our midfielders more because they're so talented. And so I think last year we opted into, like sending those long balls or just going around out wide. And so I think going through our midfield is just going to change our game so much this season.
Dino de Cespedes into the channel. Question for Onyeka. What do you want to see early in the season from a goal standpoint, like with regards to like hitting your checkpoints? Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about championship as the big goal, but getting the ball rolling on this year, what do you want to see? And then also for those unfamiliar with like your attacking style, how would you kind of qualify the type of attacker that you are?
I've talked about that before. Like, we obviously have the goal of being like going to playoffs, winning the championship. But obviously there's steps and goals that we need to achieve before that. So like you said, the step before that is making playoffs. The step before that is being in a good position in the table. The step before that is winning games. The step before that is training well so that we know how to play well in the games to win them. So, I mean, that is, our mindset. And I've talked about it before again, like, every single thing that things that we do every single day are to achieve the small goals to eventually win the championship. So, and as an attacking player, I just hope people enjoy watching me play. Like, I like to do moves. I like to take people on. I don't know if I like to assist more than I do or the other way around. Like, I like to kind of just have people like enjoy watching me play. Yeah. And
then for Sydney, defensively, as a defensive unit, what's special or unique about kind of like that group, and kind of like what makes the Bay FC defense kind of like, what gives it that DNA?
Yeah, I think something that we've been working on a lot is just competitiveness, like really bringing that every day. That's a core value of our team this year. And so I think we have some really young players, we have some experienced players coming back, and I think that supporting each other and having the competitiveness in practice in games and just putting our best foot forward is really important.
Dino Cespedes into the channel. Caroline, you talked about the notion of the long season. There's that weird break in the middle of it. Apparently the boys are playing soccer somewhere for that. How do you balance wanting to start fast, like turning the talk and the vibes into results on the pitch with the notion of a really long season?
Yeah, I kind of just getting your head right at the beginning of the season. Like, even right now, we're in preseason, so we haven't even hit our first game yet. But I think it's even a cooler thing of finding ways to kind of turn your brain off from soccer, like when you get out of training. That's a really healthy way that I've learned to do it. I love baking, and so when I come home after training, I'm like, oh, what should I make today? I'll just find something on TikTok, and I'm like, let me just try it out, and then I'll bring it into the facility.
The best baker ever.
Thank you, P.
Ever.
But that's just kind of a way that I've been able to like shut my mind off. And so when we get into this 10-month season and there's going to be lots of highs and lows, just kind of being able to lean on each other, because it's not just me going through it. There's 25 other people on the team that are doing it as well. And so being vulnerable and having open conversations of how we feel with each other is even a better way to bring confidence on the field, because we all know how each other feel and we can back each other up the best way that we know we can.
Awesome. Breaking news. Penelope, You talked about being a competitor. We all recognize that streak last season. Lots of moments you could look at where the competition, wasn't really at the level. Within your role in the team, how do you ensure that everyone else is kind of like getting to where they need to be competitive wise?
Yeah, I mean, at this level, if you're not a competitor, then you probably aren't here, like we've all competed our entire life, and there are people that like weren't superstars in college and like made this team because of like their competitiveness, people that weren't drafted, or you're just like, we have all of our players are extremely hardworking and extremely energetic, and I think the first couple weeks of the preseason we were just like buzzing around the field, and it was like the most confident, energetic I've ever seen all of our players. And I just think that speaks to like each other, like we've just supported each other, and our coaches and our staff, like we've just really clicked, and we've all brought energy. So I have I'm not worried about anybody being competitive. That's never been a worry, and on this team especially. So yeah, everyone frickin' brings it. So
I can also kind of point to it with P, with how competitive she is. Like when I see her fired up, it even gets me even more fired up inside on the field. So when she brings that energy, oh my goodness, it really affects everyone too.
All right, we're going to go to Carlos, but also calling Penelope a competitor is probably the understatement of the year. You guys can take that there.
Dino DeCespedes into the channel. Talk about personnel movement and comings and goings. Obviously a big one announced recently, Claire Hutton. Tell me about the group text. What was the vibe of the group text when you guys find out that Claire is joining?
Yeah, I mean, super exciting. Claire Hutton is a world-class player. There were some murmurs going around the league a little bit before, getting us excited. And then we had the official announcement, obviously. I mean, I think, was that yesterday? It feels like it's been a while, but yeah, yesterday. So fun to have her join us here. I think she brings incredible qualities on the ball, on the field, but also off the field. Maybe she's been in here already. If not, you guys will get to know her. She's an incredible person. I think at Bay FC, we've always said, we want to bring good players, but we want to bring good people.
And then Hannah, what would you say is the biggest thing that you worked on in the offseason, the biggest new skill that folks can expect to see on the pitch this year?
Yeah, I think the offseason is nice because you get time to move away from the sport, but you also get time to, personally develop. And for me, I think the biggest change from college was just the speed of play and just it going from having a couple seconds to maybe 1 or 2 seconds on the ball, and those seconds make a difference. So I think I really worked on speed of play, first touch, and I think in the midfield too. And we have an excellent midfield. We have experience, we have youth, we have a lot of skill, and I think playing in combination in the midfield is huge for us. And I continue to work on those skills that help me with that.